Marketing and Associate Dean Research at IMT Ghaziabad. With over 30 years of extensive experience, Dr. Singh has seamlessly blended his rich industry culture with a successful academic career. As an accomplished faculty member at IMT Ghaziabad, he imparts knowledge in B2B marketing, sales management, marketing analytics, and business research methods. Today, he will guide us through the integrative approach to marketing and selling, shedding light on the roles of marketing and selling and the critical aspects of achieving marketing sales alignment. With that, we welcome you, sir, to this session.
Thank you, Simran, and good afternoon, all the participants here, and thank you very much for taking time out and join this session. I hope towards the end of the session, you will have few questions which Simran will pass on to me, and I will be able to answer those questions. So, topic for today's discussion is about marketing and selling. Now, this is something that I'm sure all of you are aware of. What is marketing? What is selling? And we will see. If I have something else to add to your prior understanding of it, or as the title says, marketing and selling, we are trying to have a look how can we develop or build an integrated approach. Why do we need that? So all of that. As Simran mentioned, so I teach sales and marketing courses here at IMT Ghaziabad. You could look up for me on LinkedIn to know a little more about me. And also, you could go to profrakeshsingh.com, which is my blog, where if you want to read a little more on marketing and sales, you could possibly get there. So let's start the session, and let me first tell you about, so this is the blog I was talking about. So let's look at what is it that we are going to cover in this session. So first thing first, that we are going to ask this question. So what is the difference between marketing and selling? I mean, is there any difference, or they are two different entity altogether, or they are like merged already? And we are viewing it as two independent organizational functions. So we will see that. Now, if at all the organizations see that as two different independent functions, so is there a conflict? And if at all there is a conflict, then why there is a conflict? And the third is that can we develop, as I said earlier, an integrated view of marketing and selling? So that's going to be the core agenda for our session today. So let's start with what is marketing. Now, in an interactive situation, if I would have asked you this question, what is marketing, you would have probably come up with different kind of answers. And those answers possibly would be talking less about what is marketing, but you would certainly come up with ideas as to what marketing does. So like you would come up, so some of the answers would possibly come up with like marketing is about doing some market research. So I want to know more about potential customers, competitors, market trends, what are the consumer preferences, what are the market dynamics, and all of that, right? So then you could also be coming up with, I want to know about market segmentation, right? So how do I slice market in a meaningful manner so that I can have a better view of the customer set that I'm looking at, and then possibly can choose which are the segments of market I want to really target. I want to, market my product to, and then build strategies accordingly. Similarly, you would also talk about product development. So how do I figure out what kind of product customers are looking for? How do I put that together? How do I take that product through a continuum of time cycle, right? So through the product life cycle. Pricing. So that is an important decision. It's important marketing decisions. And promotion. I mean, you all know about that. We are all consumption of promotions. Like, or we all watch advertisement. We all watch marketing communication, messaging, and everything. So none of us is kind of away from it, so to say, untouched from it, right? So we know about promotion, we know about distribution. So all of us are shoppers as well. So we go and buy stuff in our nearby stores. We also buy on digital channels. So when we talk about distribution place, we are talking about both physical and the virtual space, right? So that is again about marketing. Brand management, absolutely. So how do we launch a new brand? How do we maintain a healthy brand, right? How do we build brand equity? So all that is part of marketing. These are all the things that would come to your mind. That is what marketing does. Customer relationship management, digital marketing. So all of digital marketing tools that you see, social media marketing, and all of that. That is what marketing does. And it also kind of keeps track of customer analytics, changes in customer preferences, using predictive analytics to target customers, right? So many a times when you do shopping on, let's say, Amazon or on Flipkart, it keeps giving you suggestions. So there are recommender systems. So when we think of marketing, we essentially come up with a list of actions that marketing does, right? That is in general our understanding of marketing. So some of you, say for example, will take 3 or 4 of this and tell me, okay, this is what marketing is. Some would take another set of 3 or 4, or there could be an overlap between those two sets. The point that I'm trying to make to you is, to all you young minds who are eager to learn business, and business is a lot about marketing, so is that these are the activities that marketing does. But marketing as a concept, marketing as a construct, marketing as a function in the organization, overall, it has a much, much wider implication, right? And I thought that this could be a good opportunity for me to tell you about the wider concept of marketing. And this is where we are going to go to. So let's look at how marketing is defined, and we're going to spend some time there. So let's look at this definition. So it talks about, this definition of marketing is given by American Marketing Association. So this is about in 2011, if I'm not wrong, that's when this definition was, no, it was, I think, 2006 or 7. I'm a little confused on that year part. So the definition goes like this: that marketing is the activity, it's a set of institution, and it's a set of processes. And why do we need that? So there are activities, there are institutions, there are processes to be able to create, communicate, deliver, and exchange offerings. So there are a couple of verbs here where you can see: creation, communication, delivery, exchanging. So all of this, that this is what we are talking about, that this is what marketing does. And it underlines a very important point. So all that creation, communication, and delivery and exchange of offerings that is going to happen, it must have value. Value means benefits. It must have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. So those of you who read newspapers regularly possibly would know that there are a lot of discussion about climate change, say, for example, that why companies should take responsibility for sustainability. In fact, if you read Economic Times today, there is an article which talks about sustainable marketing, right? So that is where the social angle comes in. And also the idea of social marketing comes in. So say, for example, you want to curb the smoking behavior. Now, what are you basically trying to do is, you are not selling you're not marketing a product or a service, but you are marketing an idea that stopping smoking is good for your health. right? So that is a social aspect of marketing. So you are using marketing to communicate few social messages, which is good for the society, right? So because it reduces the disease load and all of that. So when we think of marketing, we have to take a little broader approach. I mean, that is how marketing has been defined. Now, here I want you to focus on 2 points. So it talks about communicating and delivery. Now, for a moment, think about how do you communicate? How do marketers communicate? One, of course, that communication happen is through mass media channels like newspapers, televisions, digital medium, and many other mediums that one can use to communicate, including out-of-home media, right? So all those banners and boards and all those things that you see at the airport or on the road or in different shops, right? So they're all medium to communicate. So a part of that is through the marketing function. But a part of it also has to happen between the buyer and seller, like on a one-to-one basis. Pretty much like you go to, let's say, a chroma store, and you are looking for a karaoke, mic or something like that. And there, the communication is happening between the chroma salesperson and you as a buyer. So the person is telling you about, how this product is, how does it work, why it is better than the other ones, and all of that. You have questions, so the person is answering that question to you, right? That is where the salesperson is coming into play. And also the delivery. So delivery part means that as a firm, if I have to go and deliver products to my customers, that basically means I need to have some kind of an intermediary. I need to have kind of a distribution channel or service channel. So it's like that if I'm a refrigerator manufacturer, refrigerator marketer, so I need to have dealerships who will sell these refrigerators to the customers who are coming to the shop, to the dealership. And also I need to have a service channel who will provide service to the refrigerator being sold, right? So a part of communication and the delivery mechanism is something that possibly is all about the sales function. So the question comes that if the marketing is defined like this, shouldn't we say that, well, sales therefore is subsumed in the marketing? At conceptual level, that is what the reality is. So if somebody asks you that, well, is sales marketing different? You can say this. Well, at a conceptual level, marketing sales is very much part of the market. But how it changes when it goes to practice, when it goes to companies, to firms, because we have to work with organization structure. We have to follow a kind of organization structure that enables functions to work in a more efficient way. So you will have a marketing function and sales function. Within marketing also, you could be having product management function, brand management function. There could be within the product management, there could be pricing groups. So all that is the organizational structure part of it. But I want you to remember this point, that at a broad conceptual level, selling is very much inside marketing. So it's all one big piece and a large chunk resides there, right? But of course, in practice, it kind of comes out, so to say. It looks like two distinct functions. All right. Now, I told you about that the communication and the delivery part that constitutes selling. Now, let's also look at what is selling, right? So I explained back to you that it's about communicating and delivering value to target segment of customers. So what is communicating and delivering value? Communicating about benefits, delivering those benefits to the customers, right? So the customer has come to buy a washing machine. So the salesperson is communicating all the benefits, how this works, how fast it works, what are the precautions need to be taken while using this washing machine, right? And delivery part is that it facilitates the purchase of the washing machine. The salesperson is going to facilitate in terms of if the customer is looking for finance, if the customer is looking for this to be delivered at home, right? Or later if there are some service required. So all that is being taken care of. However, selling also, pretty much like we talked about marketing, and there were list of things. In selling also, there are different steps that is required. And here I am talking more so in the context of personal selling. So imagine once you enter a store, let's say, or let's say you go to a car dealership. You go to Maruti Suzuki India Limited car dealership, which are called Arena or Nexa. So as you go there, so there is a salesperson, right? And then that salesperson has to follow a process, right? And that is what the whole selling process is all about. So I thought I'll take this opportunity to take you through that selling process as prospecting, the first one. So how do I know who are the people who are likely to have an interest in buying the product or service that I am offering? So say, for example, I'm a car dealer salesperson. So I need to have, I need to identify such people who are likely to buy the cars that I'm going to sell to them. Then how do I qualify those leads? Thereby meaning I need to find out from them when they are going to buy. Are they going to buy now, or they're going to buy 2 months later? Who are they going to buy it for? Is it for their own use, or the person is buying for wife, daughter, son, whatever, right? Are they going to pay everything upfront, or they're going to need a car finance, right? So all that is the qualification process. Then you want to do a need assessment. What kind of car is he looking for? What would be the best car for him? Can I make a recommendation to him? So the presentation part comes in. It is only possible that a customer has gone there to buy a hatchback, but after meeting the salesperson is able to present a sedan. And within the small stretch of the pricing and through car finance and all that, the salesperson is able to convince the customer. So the customer could be having objections there. No, but the sedan is expensive. I can't have that kind of money. And then the salesperson could be saying, oh, well, we have very easy, low interest car finance scheme. So that is going to take care of that. So that is the handling objection part, right? And then he closes the sale. So finally, the person agrees and he does the paperwork, does the bank and finance work and everything, and the car is sold. Right? So that is a process that a function of selling has, especially when it is a one-to-one seller and buyer interaction that is going to happen in a situation like this. So why I'm explaining this to you, say for example, every time when you go to buy, let's say a small thing like a pen, nobody is selling it to you. You are just going and asking the shopkeeper and he gives it to you. That's it. You would say, but then what is the role of sales there? The role of sales there is because the salesperson who is servicing that retail outlet, he has ensured that the pen that you are going to ask for, that is stocked in the store. It is available in that store. That is the selling role there. So what he has done, the salesperson hasn't sold to you, he has sold it to the retail outlet. So now I hope you are getting this, that mostly in the consumer product category, the selling is not happening to the consumer. The selling is happening to the distributor, all the channel partners, or to the wholesaler, or to the retailer, right? So those are the customers, and they are so very important, because if the salesperson is not able to sell to the retail outlet, you will not get your preferred pen there, right? So that is how selling manifests in a one-to-one situation or in a situation where there is an intermediary involved. So there is a dealer or distributor or retail outlets which are involved, right? So now before we go further, and so let me also explain this to you. So when we think of marketing, marketing is about just two things, and I'm speaking a little broad for you. It concerns only two things. What is the behavior of the firm, which is the marketer? What is the behavior of the customers? What is the consumer behavior, right? So it concerns only two things. Now, what is the behavior of the firm? Now, within that firm's behavior is also the function of sales coming in. So how do salespeople go about doing their job? That is the firm's behavior, right? And that behavior needs to be aligned with the behavior of the marketing teams, different marketing teams. So the brand team, the product team, the pricing team, all of that, right? And the understanding of consumer behavior is, again, like I said that in the first slide itself, gaining insights about customers. So when through market research, when we gain insight about customers, those insights are shared with everyone. So it is shared with the salespeople, sales function as well, so that they know which are the places that we should stock the product, which are the retail outlets they will have the product, because these are the kind of customers they are going to go to those retail outlets to ask for the product, right? So it's about the firm behavior and the customer behavior. So, so closing the sale, follow-up, and relationship building, all of that is part of that process. So the question is, if that be the case, then why do we have to see situations like this when the sales and marketing, they're not even talking to each other? Of course, this is an exaggeration. It's for fun and humor, but representative of reality. So many a times in organizations, sales and marketing, they could be having completely, kind of divergent positions, right? So that is a problem. That is a problem, and I always take opportunities when I talk to young minds like you to tell them that it doesn't have to be like this. There is no need for this to be there. So, in fact, just to drive home the point, it is this problem is so global. It's not only about India. Everywhere. There was an article in Harvard Business Review. That's what it talks about. That how do we end the war between? I did not use such a strong word. Now it is coming from Harvard Business Review. Ending the war between sales and marketing. And what they are basically saying is that essentially marketers think that they have come up with some very, very brilliant ideas, right? And therefore, it should be implemented exactly the way they want it. And the sales team think that, oh, no, it's all these ideas are just superfluous. Because sales team is focused on achieving their sales target. So all they want is get me more salespeople, give them more incentives. That's it. So that I'm able to achieve my target for the month, for the quarter, for the year. And marketers will say, oh, these guys are too myopic. They are just blind to the future. They are not looking long term. The sales doesn't want to look at long term, right? So this could be one of the reason for a kind of a conflicting situation. Marketing clearly wants to build a brand. It wants to build loyalty. So the real test of good marketer is, so if you think about companies like P&G, you think about HUL, right? They are great marketers. Why? Because they have brands that have a set of loyal customers, right? However, that loyal customers that have come, that also has to go through a process. And I'm going to demonstrate to you that that process also needs to be supported by sales at each stage. And therefore, my submission here is that there actually is no need for fight. There is no need to have a kind of, you are long term, I am short term, and I am therefore more business focused and stuff like that. So I'll quickly tell you about so what exactly marketers need to go through if you have to really have to have a set of brand loyal customers. Let's look at a very generalized framework. And the framework, I love these 2x2 matrices. So on this side, you have low differences between brands, high differences between brands, and on the column, low uncertainty of untried brand, high uncertainty of untried. Now, most of the time, a new category or a product would possibly start from this point. So, which is your, let me just this one. This is your first quadrant where the difference between the brand is low and uncertainty of untried brand is also low. Now, here, the consumer behavior, remember I said marketing is about understanding firm's behavior and consumer behavior. So now I'm talking about consumer behavior. So here, when you have this kind of a situation, here the buyer is kind of agnostic about brand. I mean, it's like he could be buying any brand would do. Why? Because there is no uncertainty or almost very low uncertainty of untried brand, so I can buy anything. And there is, in any case, there is not much difference between the brands. So many a times you would have seen you go and for buying small little things like pen, pencil, erasers, and all that. Apsara is not there. Okay, you give me some other. So those kind of things. So here, the behavior is a picking behavior. So you see something, you say, okay, this looks like okay, let me buy that, right? Which is the first one. The second one is this place where the consumers start trying new brands, right? So that is like a variety seeking behavior. Now, here, the variety seeking behavior basically means that consumers think that these brands have differences, right? They're different brands, and there, in any case, the uncertainty of untried brand is very low. So they keep moving from one brand to the other. Now, that is a great opportunity for marketers because now at this stage, customers are ready to experiment. They want to take this one, they want to take that one, all of that. Now, the third stage, which is here, is about the problem solving stage. Now that customers have tried different brands and now they have narrowed their choice of brand. So, because now there is a high uncertainty of untried brands. So they don't want to go to different brands. So they have just 1, 2, 3 brands. You would have seen that when you, or maybe in your household, when you buy, let's say, what detergents or shampoos, possibly it's a problem solving stage where you don't want to use, go for untried brands. You want to limit yourself because you're very in a problem solving stage. And the fourth one is where the there is a very high uncertainty of untried brands, but the difference between the brand is very low. They're all same. So what you do is it becomes your habit. You think that no, this is what I have been using and this is what I'll use. So this is the brand loyalty quadrant. Here we could think of getting customers who are so you would have seen in your case only for particular product category when you go to a shop and you ask for a product, almost every time you ask for the same brand, you don't even have to think about it. It has become your habit. That is what it is. Marketers want all customers to basically come to quadrant 4, right? That is the generalized framework. So how do they do this? So the first stage that I explained to you, which is about the commodity. So when there is when a product is treated as a commodity, it basically means there is no difference. Everything is same. So whether it's Apsara pencil or Nataraj pencil, they're all same. So you don't really care much. It's just for you more like, so it's like, Well, many a times you would have seen people go to a stationery shop and they simply say, "Give me a pencil." They don't even will talk about the brand. So that's the commodity part of it. So, and then there are some search attributes through which customers are able to differentiate that, oh, this looks different from the other. And that is why in the variety seeking stage, marketers, what they have to do is they have to have different kind of packaging, they have to have different kind of promotions so that they can attract buyer to try their brands. In the third quadrant, marketers would build experience attributes. So the service part starts coming in. And at the fourth one is about the credence. So how credible the brand is. The brand starts gaining trust of the customer. And that is how it becomes, it has a stickiness and it gets brand loyal customers. So what does marketing do? That's very interesting. And I'll give you this with a very simple example. So in the first quadrant, let's talk about this here. Yes, say for example, here in the first quadrant, let's talk an example of the salt, something very, very fundamental thing, salt, right? So iodized salt, let's say. So iodized salt, many iodized salt, so it's like a commodity. But the moment you introduce your attribute, you are actually getting differentiated. So those of you remember, possibly would recollect, one of the attribute that was introduced in case of salt was free flow. Okay, so it's a free flow salt, and so that's like now you are different from other salt, right? So that's and you are increasing the importance of attribute by suggesting that free flow salt is a better salt. It's a better iodized salt. And then you also want to bring in some emotion into it, going to the third quadrant here, emotion based positioning. So if you recollect, देश का नमक, Tata Namak, Desh ka Namak. That is an emotion-based positioning. So you are getting emotionally attached to that brand, Tata Namak. I mean, I'm just giving you an example. And then as you kept on using this, now companies started, now they don't want you to go anywhere. They don't want those consumers to go anywhere. They have to bring them to the brand loyalty quadrant. So what they did, they started talking about that how salt is related to healthy heart, right? So now it has gained trust right to the individual health level, right? And that is how, if you will, that is how they have a large base of loyal customers, brand loyal customers for Tums, right? Isn't that fascinating? Just small little example, and then we know what's going on here. Okay. Now you would say that, oh, this guy started with talking about marketing and selling, but he's only talking about positioning and attribute and all of that. Let's come to now the selling part of it. So now, what is it that at different stage, what sales has to do? And that is why I said that there is no need to look at it separately. So think of it at the commodity stage, where the difference is very low between the brands, and there exists very low uncertainty of untried brands. The salespeople need to ensure that there is enough availability and visibility of the product, so that when customers go, they are able to find that product, they are able to see that product. Okay. Now, when the customers are in the stage of, in the second quadrant, when they are variety seeking, they're looking at different brands because they think there are difference between the brands, right? So, and they are looking for quantity, volume deals, and all of that. This is the time the sales team or the salespeople, they need to provide information to the customers. They need to come up with different kind of promotion schemes for the customers, bundling offers for the customers. So you must have experienced all of this. Now, these are all sales actions that is happening at the retail outlet level. Okay, so you would have seen many a times you go to a store and then you see that L'Oreal has a small kiosk inside that store. That is the demonstration store. There, the salespeople are telling the prospective customers that why they should be using L'Oreal shampoo or any other product. Okay. The third part is where you are building the experience attribute is about generating salespeople. They generate a positive word of mouth by giving excellent service. Okay, because here what is happening is that by giving those service, you are bringing the customer into that quadrant when they start thinking, oh my god, I should not be trying any other brand, because they start thinking about high uncertainty about untried brands. So they have only one or two brands that they want to go ahead with, and over a period of time, as you build more and more trust, you move to the last quadrant of the loyalty phase. And the loyalty phase, basically, there the salespeople have a role in the sense that they need to provide unconditional service to those customers to ensure that no customer is going to some other brand. So they keep coming back to you, right? So many of these, customer relation management activities that is done to basically help the sales team achieve this lower customer churn or very high customer stickiness, so that the brand loyalty is built over a period of time. So at like I explained to you, at each of this quadrant, sales have a role. So what is happening? Basically, at each stage, marketing has certain action. It has to be matched by sales at each of these quadrants. So it is not even like that, oh, if I have got a set of loyal customers, I don't have to worry about sales. That's not true. You still have to provide the best possible service to your customers. That's very important, because if you don't do that, there will be a risk of defection. Right? So that's how this whole thing gets aligned. I'll give you one more example and then possibly this will get clear. Think of buying process for an SUV. Let's think like customers. That would get even more clear. So this is how it goes. So say, for example, the first stage, now it's like a funnel that you see here. The customer becomes aware that, well, I need to buy one SUV. And then there is a brand awareness. So he needs to know which are the brands which are available. So what does marketing do? They keep advertising. They keep advertising on different medium, through Facebook, all these places. So customer has certain brand awareness. Okay, these are the brands which are available. Now, these brands are constantly communicating with the customers which one is better, what are the features, right? So there are many of these cardeco.com, carbazaar.com, and all of these places where you can go and collect information. So that's what customer does. They get more and more information proactively, and marketers, they are using different channels to provide those information. Now, based on that information, there is a brand consideration set that, okay, maybe I will buy a SUV out of these three brands. That is your brand consideration. So it's a consideration set. Then you further analyze it, get more information to finally figure out that maybe I want to go and see these two cars. So you develop preference for these two cars. And all this along, you haven't met the salespeople yet. This is all happening between the marketing efforts and your efforts. They are converging somewhere, or they are getting enabled by marketing actions. All right. So now you say, for example, you decide, okay, Volkswagen and Skoda. So what do? You make a call to these two dealerships. The moment you make that call, you become a lead, a sales lead. And that kind of flows into the CRM system of that dealership. And that is the point where marketing actually hands it off to the sales. And that is why you have this cutoff kind of a thing here. Can you see that? So there is a handoff. So now the customer is actually coming with brand preference. It has a kind of in purchase intention, but that purchase intention is also for some other brand as well. Now, this is where the sales has to ensure that the purchase intention is converted into purchase. And to be able to do that, the salesperson has to follow the processes. The salesperson will have to possibly find out what kind of SUV that the person is looking for, what kind of motivation he has. Is he looking for a very, very sturdy SUV, or is he looking for a SUV which is like economical, right? So, based on several factors, he would possibly convert this purchase intention to purchase. And after purchase, he continues giving good service to the customer. And even after 5 or 10 years, the customer, when he thinks to buy a car again, he considers that company only. And not only that, beyond this, if the service is good, the customer actually become an advocate for the brand. So there is a customer advocacy. He is not charging any money to the car company, but he keeps on talking about, oh, this car is very good. And even if somebody is not asking, he keeps making recommendations. So are you planning to buy a car? You should buy this car or that car, whatever it is, right? So this is how. Now see the point here. Most of us would think that the brand loyalty, customer loyalty here we're talking about would possibly be only coming through marketing. Yes, it does start from there in the funnel, if you see. But sales has a role, like I showed it to you in the last diagram, right? At each of the steps, sales has the role. So clearly, there is absolutely no reason for sales and marketing to go at war, or for that matter have any kind of a difference of opinion and all that. And it's possible. In fact, many firms they have achieved, and in fact most of good marketing firms, they also are, they have achieved that seamlessly. In fact, if I have to say this to you, say for instance, best marketers like P&G and HUL and all these companies, in their management training program, the first thing that you have to do is to have a sales stint. You need to first go and sell to retail outlets, to distributors, and all that. Then only you possibly move to brand management and product management roles a little later, not immediately, right? So that is to basically ensure that people who are doing these brand function, product function, they have a good understanding of sales as well, right? So I'll have a quick example that I can share with you. Those of you who are logging in from Kolkata possibly will know this. This is in Bengali. This is a Bengali newspaper called Aishamai. I had this opportunity of rather I would say a very lucky opportunity to launch this newspaper in Kolkata. This is one of the finest example I kind of witnessed where we had great success in launching this new brand in a competitive place like Calcutta, which has a very, very strong Bengali newspaper. And we could do this simply because we had perfected the alignment between the marketing effort and selling effort. That is the point. It was like a very, very well orchestrated effort. So at each stage, so say for example, pre-launch, what is it that the marketing is going to do? What is it that the sales team is going to do? At the launch, post-launch, how do we stabilize the price of the newspaper? So all of that we could achieve in 2 years' time. We had actually a longer time available, but we could, because that is what happens if you have a very well aligned effort going in. You could achieve great results, and that's what we did. So this was a 2012 story, right? And that's what I wrote, a brand launch story, yeah. And I'm very fond of this. And this newspaper is kind of very strong in Calcutta today. It's certainly number 2 Bengali newspaper in Kolkata. So with this, I think I'm going to stop because I know you would be having questions. So I would love to have questions from you. Simran, can you tell me the questions so that I can answer if there are any?
Yes, sir, we have a few queries.
Oh,
I'll pick
good,
one of them to
excellent.
start with.
Yeah,
So the first query is, can we say that sales depends on marketing?
sales depend on marketing. Oh, yes, yes. So a very good observation. Actually, it's absolutely correct to say that. There's no, I mean, there can't be any doubt on that part, I would say, because as you saw the funnel, it started with customer awareness, and that is how the marketing first starts, and the sales fits in. Sales has certain actions to do. So, say for example, when there is a new brand launch, okay, now everything is being planned by a marketing function. The sales has to ensure that the brand is placed in the retail outlets. Otherwise, brand launch will have no meaning, right? And if you place it in retail store without any marketing support, then sales will have difficulty. So therefore, yes, it is true that sales has to be supported by marketing. Absolutely.
We have another question that is, how can we integrate customer data across different platforms to create a unified view?
You mean so I'm making a guess. So you what you're saying is that if I'm getting customer data from different sources, right? How do I get a clear picture? Now, so one of the thing that you have to see is that any data that is going to come to you will have certain attributes. If we are able to merge attributes, so maybe in one source of data, the attributes are named differently. In other source of data, attributes are named differently. But if we are able to make sense of these attributes, merge them, then you have a unified data. And then you can run regression models on them. You can have segmentation on them. That is possible. So what it requires is when you have a multiple source data, we do data cleaning, we do data updation, and then we run analytics on that data.
Uh, So there is another question.
Yeah.
How does one qualify leads and transition them from marketing to sales? Are there any bottlenecks or friction points?
Oh yeah. So yes. So that's a very good question. So first friction point is that when you do the qualification, many leads can go waste. Okay. Now that is one big complaint that marketing team would do, that we generated so many leads, right? And that is why there is a term, marketing leads, and then sales qualified leads, SLQ. So between marketing leads and SLQ, there could be a gap. So marketing would be unhappy that, oh my God, we gave so many leads, only these many could be qualified. Now the sales team would have another complaint that these people are generating leads which are not genuine. And therefore, when we go on qualifying, many of the leads, they turn out to be, not really interested. So, because the lead is supposed to have at least some degree of intention attached to it, right? So, the problem happens in the qualification stage when the team which is doing the qualification, they realize that the intention has not been measured clearly, and therefore this is a lead with a very low or zero intention. Now that could lead to a friction point for sure. The other problems of, and by the way, I'm not giving clean sheet to any one of these marketing and sales lead. What I'm saying is basically is there could be problem in the lead qualification process as well. One of the very important problem or critical problem that lead qualification process has is how fast we respond to a lead, how fast we qualify the lead. Most of the time, the follow up on lead gets delayed. And this is true, especially on leads that come through digital campaigns, digital marketing campaigns. So by the time you are going to qualify that lead, your competitor or somebody else has gone to that customer, or customer has changed minds, done whatever, right? So there are three, in fact, there are three parameters that marketers need to worry about as far as lead qualification is concerned. The first is the immediacy. So how fast you do that. The second is the accuracy. That are you accurate in terms of getting all the details from the customer lead, right? And the third is, which is again very important, is the intimacy. How well you know the lead, how much you know the lead. So if you're doing these three correct and your marketing channels are able to churn out right kind of lead, possibly you will have a much better sales qualified lead proportion. Yeah.
Okay, so we have another question. How openly do marketing and sales team currently communicate? What
Uh,
tools or channel do they use?
So yeah, so of course, as I mentioned, more and more firms are realizing the merits or the benefits of working together, and there are various channels that marketing and sales team use, including the ones that are available to us with meetings and field visits. So it's especially in consumer business, whether it's white goods or otherwise, FMCG. So marketers are more on the ground, and they want to have a feel of it. They have review meetings where marketing team is also available for giving support. So it's I would say uh, it's getting better and better, and also because both they appreciate each other's job, so they are able to align better. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much for your valuable words, sir. I think we are done with the questions.
All right,
So,
Simran, and yeah.
as we conclude this insightful session, I extend heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Rakesh Singh for sharing a wealth of knowledge in this engaging exploration of marketing and selling strategies. Your valuable insights have undoubtedly enriched our understanding, sir. To everyone present, thank you for being a part of the IMT Connect series, and we look forward to you welcoming you in future sessions. If your queries have remained unanswered, you can mail it to us at admissions@imt.edu. Thank you once again for joining us today.
I have just one more sentence to say. I want to thank those viewers who had a question to ask. Thank you very much for your questions. I really enjoyed answering them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.